Hi, I'm Nathan. I go by Peteparker, and every week I do comic book reviews because that's the rule around my house. If I want to keep buying them, then I got to review them online. So this review is going to be for Uncanny X-Men, the Fear Itself tie-in. I don't know if you'd call it Fear Itself Uncanny X-Men or if you call it Uncanny X-Men Fear Itself. Either way, it's a really long title. And again, this giant header is extremely ugly. Like, I get how it's breaking up two different pictures on the actual Fear Itself book. That's fine. On the regular tie-ins or whatever, can we make this like half the size? Because it is gigantically ugly. And you're shrinking like all of this beautiful cover art to have that stupid giant logo up there. Anyway, this is number 540. It's written by Kieran Gillen and drawn by everyone's favorite artist, Jeff Land. Jeff Land? No, that's a friend of mine. What's Land's first name? I have to look it up. I know too many people with the last name Land, apparently. Because, yes, that is Jeff Land. Anyway, it's Land. Land's art typically is well known for being photo referenced. He basically takes photos of famous people, a lot of times from magazines, and paints over them more or less, or draws over them, traces them in a lot of ways to get the expressions that he wants on people's faces, or even body posture, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I didn't really care about that before. I liked Land's artwork generally in the past, and then all I hear all the time is about how horrible his artwork because he does all this photo referencing stuff all over the place. And now that's all I see everywhere I look in here. Or that's what I think I see, right? I spend so much time focusing on, is that like a photo from somewhere? Does that look like a magazine? Or is it not a magazine? Why is that person smiling all weird in this panel? That takes away from the story, definitely. And it's sad to see that this is the way that Uncanny X-Men is going to go out. I mean, you got 4 issues. This is 540, right? I don't know how many of those are actually tie-ins to Fear Itself, but I sincerely hope that 544, the last one, does not have this giant, ugly Fear Itself tie-in banner on it. We already know that Mr. Land is associated with this anyway, but hopefully it's not all that either. So as I was going through this, being knowledgeable about the situation with his photo referencing, I looked at a lot of faces while I was reading this. Here's an interesting little tidbit. If you notice here, there's a little bit of product placement. There's Orbit Gum advertisement at this gas station. They should have just made it a Phillips Conoco gas station also while they were at it, but anyway, I thought that was funny that it's there. And some art, right, like this one, doesn't really look like it was photo referenced. It looked like it was really drawn and drawn well, like not from a picture. But then right across the page, right here, that looks really weird for this guy to have this expression. Now maybe he just does these expressions because he enjoys or is good at or feels comfortable with drawing people smiling all the time. But it seems like they are oddly smiling at a lot of weird times. There's a Juggernaut. That's another issue I have with the Fear Itself situation right now. Juggernaut was like a main character or like a huge impact on all of these books this week. It's like he was all over the place too, but not nearly as bad as Wolverine. It just seems weird that they would focus so much on just Juggernaut when there's a lot of other super strong bad guys going around. So apparently anything to do with X-Men, they got Juggernaut to deal with, and everywhere else gets something else. So Juggernaut's going to attack San Francisco and level it or whatever as part of the end game for Fear Itself, and the X-Men are going to try to stop it or whatever. That's generally what the story is. You get a little bit of backstory about the X-Men's PR situation as Cyclops talks to the mayor. You get a little bit of story about Colossus and his confusion as to why his sister sold them all out, which I totally didn't read that story. I missed that story wherever it was. This is a hilarious Colossus photo reference. Now, that guy's big, right? That's a big dude. But if you really look at his hair there, it looks just like he has a faux hawk or a mohawk there, and that the rest of his head was just kind of colored and scratched in to keep up for it. So it really feels like that is somebody's picture that was used for this. Oh, and Cyclops' hair is hilarious too. He is hanging out with the mayor or whatever. The mayor looks all hip. Mayor of San Francisco right there. Check out his hair here. It's all swept over, bangs out of his face, kind of long or whatever, right? And then on the next page, his hair is like parted right in the middle, and his bangs are like hanging down on the sides. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then like 2 panels later, it's like swept up and over and behind, right down the middle of his head. So he's got some crazy hair issues going on. Maybe it's a superpower where his hairstyle changes with the direction that you look at him. Or it's a bunch of photo referencing from different people put in on the same pages to represent the same person. Whatever, right? Let's see. And then you get this weird thing with Emma Frost and Namor. Now, I know they've knocked boots or whatever together in the past, but it seems so weird that he would just like stop the middle of this war kind of thing and saying, well, hey, I'm going to take off, go fight under the seas or whatever. You want to hook up one more time? Here it is. I'm Namor. It seems really weird. But he does make a good point that as much as Scott seems to care about Emma, he married Jean and he hasn't proposed any kind of situation like that with Emma. So makes Emma go, well, maybe he doesn't like me as much as I thought he did. Here's another good artwork of Juggernaut smashing his way. He's got like runes that leave their wake wherever he steps. It's kind of weird that his little follower guy is saying like join us and there's no other us in there. So this is weird, right? Gosh, I hope it's not the end of Uncanny X-Men, because that is not a fair ending to this monumental series that's happening. Hopefully they can wrap up the Fear Itself stuff with the Uncanny X-Men thing in like next issue, and then have a whole separate, special, really great story in like 2 more issues that'll wrap up the entire series, because ending it on this note is really like a detriment to the entire volume. But anyway, I wish I hadn't known or didn't know so much about that photo referencing thing, and that I could look past it all the time or not even realize that it's happening. I probably would have enjoyed this book more, because the coloring's really great, and there are definite instances where he's trying to draw without photo referencing, and it's good. It's really good, but you gotta put the time into it too, because there's definitely spots where it seems like that wasn't used, and it's not good art either. So maybe the dude's learning and getting better. I don't really have anything against it. I just wish I didn't see it so much and it wasn't so obvious now. So there you go. I will probably give this a I have to give it a 2 out of 5. I'd give it a 3 out of 5, but there's so many elements associated with it that I just didn't like. The photo referencing popping out all over the place, the kind of weird, sporadic, like little stories going on at the same time, that you can't really tell whether or not those matter or not, or why you should care. And then you got like Juggernaut threatening to destroy San Francisco, but nothing really happening with that either. So let's all pray that this ends in 2 issues in 541 or 542, and then we get 2 issues of the last Uncanny X-Men that's really good, but I don't see that happening. I think we're going to get 4 issues or 5 issues of this Fear Itself garbage going on for this series. Too bad. Anyway, if you like this review or if you like the rest of my reviews, go ahead and follow me on YouTube under Spidey207, or you can check out iFanboy or the Marvel and DC databases, or even Comic Vine. Look for any reviews, video reviews done by Peteparker, And that's where you'll find these. So either way. In any case, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.